until we go to lunch. So this is going to be a quick one. We initially planned on this being an hour and a half, so put your seatbelts on because we're cutting it down to about 45 minutes.
Technology stuff, who cares about that? Nobody.
Everyone knows it's been said that Telarus is the master agent that IT built. We rely heavily on software, we rely heavily on streamlining operations, reporting, information gathering, quoting, all kinds of good stuff that you know you use every day. We depend heavily on them, making that work, making that streamline. During quite a bit of this year, we worked on what we call enterprising the system. And I'm sure you heard that on many conference calls. It was great, I don't see anything new yet. Whatever this enterprising is. And what we were actually doing is optimizing a lot of our databases, making sure that queries could be answered more quickly, making sure we were operating off unified code, so Mars, Venus, your agent back office, the VAR agent back office, everything was pulling from the same set of code rather than 6 different sets of code. There was a lot of work that was done on the back end to speed things up, to make them work better together, and also to create some redundancy in the system so we had backups so we would not have outages, all kinds of good stuff that were put together. In addition to enterprising, IT has been working extremely hard on some new things that you will see that are visible to you. So it's not just back-end work that was done in enterprising. There are a lot of new things that have been done as well. And for that, I'd like to introduce Patrick Coburn, the co-founder and chief marketing officer, who also tends to be a technical marketing officer in that he designs some of the interfaces that you will see. And I'd also like to bring up Andrew Morgan, our Vice President of Web Operations, who is really behind all the development that goes on, all of the new integration that's taking place, and these new products that are being released today. Now, there's going to be a lot of introduction. Please hold all of your questions. There are going to be plenty of questions. There are going to be some bugs. Maybe 2, maybe 3. It will happen. That's the nature of the beast. We've tried to address some of them already. It will happen. There will be questions. There will be corrections. We're constantly modifying. But we want to get through this first and talk about it. We may have time at the end to talk about some of the questions you may have, some of the requests. But please do hold those to the end. So for the next 40 minutes, here are Patrick Coburn and Andrew Morgan.
Thanks a lot for that wonderful introduction, Adam. It's a pleasure to be here, everybody. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you taking the time and effort to come. And I promised my friends from Houston that I would slow down, but I broke that promise already. Apologize in advance. One of the fun things about starting a new business, you guys are all business owners. Y'all kind of know the excitement of starting something new, trying to figure out what platform you're going to use, trying to figure out what carriers you're going to use, what master agents you're going to use, what your business strategy is going to be. It's all a very exciting time. And when you're starting your business, you kind of wear all the hats. You're the CEO, you're the sales guy, and then as you grow, you start taking some of those hats and kind of offloading them and training that person how to use that hat and really grow beyond yourself. And the same thing was true with Telarus. It was Adam and I 7 years ago. Gosh, man, where's the time going? I used to be in my 20s now, I'm in my late 30s, I'm in my 40s soon. Anyway.
Oh, stop. I feel really
Okay. This is Vegas, I always feel the need to entertain. And one of the things that we did is we kind of did a divide and conquer strategy. Adam was going to make sales and get to know the carriers and do everything on that side. I was going to do everything technical and marketing. So I was going to generate the leads. I was going to build the systems, work with one of our developers in building GeoQuote. Had some good ideas there. Having come from an engineering background, a lot of that stuff came somewhat natural to me. And so that's what we did, and things grew and grew and grew, and I never really had the experience of becoming part of a fast-growing, now large company, and everything that this man to the left of me is experiencing. I feel for him firsthand. I used to do his job, and I'm so thankful that he has the job now, and he's done such an awesome job. I just want to, if you could put your hands together real fast for our man Andrew, who leads the technical guys. Outstanding job, and if it's late at night and something needs to get done, he'll actually just crack open some code and write a little bit himself. Don't tell Daniel Pentecost that. That's our little internal secret. But he does a fantastic job, and he knows the software. He's written small pieces of it, as have I. but the vast majority is really getting to know you, getting to know what you need, working with you. And one of the differences between us and, we always kind of call ourselves a software company, the master agent that software built, because software does something for us that nothing else can do. And that really, it's akin to hiring a bunch of slaves that do your work for you every day, and they don't complain, they don't need food, they don't need water, they just work. And everyone who's in computer engineering knows the fact that, you know, the power of a beautifully written program can really make your life 10 times more efficient. And in sales, that equates to making you more money. And so really what our job is, it's to drink our own punch. It's not an RPM or a master stream where we just focus on the software and just hope people buy it. And if there's problems, try to fix them as soon as possible. Here, you're our product. And so if you married to our system doesn't make sense, then we don't make any money. And so really we drink our own punch. When stuff's broken, we fix it late at night. When you need new features, in the olden days we used to have features built in the back office before the phone call even got over. Nowadays we record the features. Some of the urgent ones we get done right away. And we really make it a point to really do what you need it to do. And so the feedback loop is important, and I'm sorry to ask you to hold your questions till the end, because I really like the interactive aspect of the way Telarus has always operated. This has been our culture. It's our culture of instant feedback, instant gratification. And when I talk to people that are like, aren't you afraid that when your agents vote for the TA Members' Choice Award that other masters will market to them? I'm like, I don't care, man. My guys are spoiled. They can't, you know, you drive a Ferrari and then someone offers you a ride in the Yugo, and it's like, think about that. I'll get right back to you on that. It's because we really do take pride in the biggest thing that I would like to point out is the gross number that Adam pointed out. That money isn't money in Adam and I's pocket. I wish it was, but it's not. That's not our deficit for the government growing there. Well, that's a little too small. But what it is that's money going directly to you. A certain percentage of all the money that comes into Telarus goes right out the back door to you guys. We're a conduit. So when that number goes up, that means we're paying more people. More families are paying their mortgage. More families are putting money in savings. More agents are able to now hire employees to come in and help them grow their business. It's purely a sign of growth. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Andrew. Again, done a fantastic job. All the developers that work for us report directly to Andrew, and we work together to make sure the stuff works, looks good, make sure it works, make sure it's what you need, and then we shoot the requirements down, and then it's Andrew's neck that I grab when stuff breaks or stuff's not designed to spec. And so he's done a fantastic job, and he's going to talk a little bit more about our IT endeavors.
Thank you, Patrick. First of all, I want to talk about, there's a big differentiator that we pride ourselves here with, and if you've been with Telarus for quite a while, you're aware of this and you know this, so just entertain me. But I see a lot of new faces in the room as well, and that's halfway a joke because I don't see anybody's faces except for at the trade show. But there are a lot of new faces, so I just do want to go over just a couple of differentiators. I've been in a lot of companies, and just to let you know, I've got a TV broadcasting background, and I also have a marketing background. And I've been in large companies where I haven't been a part of the IT group. I've either been in the sales group or the marketing group, but it's always been fun and entertaining to watch just the generalizations go on that the sales guys think that the IT guys are a bunch of eggheads who can't produce anything that works and is useful. And then the IT guys think that the sales guys are a bunch of knuckleheads that don't know how to communicate. So we really try to come with a different approach here that sales truly drives what IT does. We want to sit down and we want to figure out exactly what sales needs, exactly what you need, and we want to produce those tools interface first and front side first to build exactly what you need. And then once we're done, which we've said a couple times today, we're never truly done. We always want to come back. We want your input. We want to find out how we can make you more productive. We want to find out how we can make you more effective. And then we will continue to get that stuff in. One way that we do that, again, I preach this pretty much every week. Download Telarus Alert. If you're not familiar with what that is, that's a tool that we use to communicate with you all the new things that we have going on in sales, all the new things that we've got coming out in IT. It beats email. It comes on your desktop, pops up immediately. If you have it, I hope you enjoy it. If you don't have it, try it out. We really like it. Also, I want to welcome everybody to come on our weekly agent sale, on our weekly agent call. We hold that once a week on Tuesdays, and it's a great resource again for us to not only IT but across the board to get information out to you. And we also open that up every week for agents to talk to each other, for agents to communicate back to us. And it doesn't happen too often, but it will happen every once in a while where IT gets in the hot seat and we get ganged up on for things that we need to change. But we definitely enjoy that feedback. We want that feedback, and that's how we continue to make this better. We're also driven by marketing. Patrick and I talk all the time as far as when we're coming up with new tools, and we try to figure out what's something that would be helpful for you. How can we get that in your hands, and how can we get that out the door? And of course, agents, you guys come up with fantastic ideas collectively. That not only will help your business, but will help the person sitting next to you. And obviously, always a top priority. Another thing that we really pride ourselves is that every person in IT thinks about usability. It's not one of these things that someone just sits in a corner, programs something up, and throws it out the door. I spend a lot of time working with our IT guys to think creativity. At the end of the day, if you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to do something, is this going to work the way that you need to work? And our guys have increasingly become a lot better at being able to get something out, getting out faster, without Patrick or I or somebody from sales needing to go through and spending another week going through and making it functional or usable for you. We have a commitment to get things right. We hardly have any tools that we get out the door, we throw it out there and leave it alone. The feedback is definitely important. And then we always love to celebrate sales, new sales things. We love hearing the victories, we love hearing the challenges and overcoming those. But everybody in IT, down to the guys who are overseas programming and doing things, we share that with them. It's important with them. It's important to them, and they like to hear that feedback as well. That was me about 7 years ago. Just kidding. Another thing that we do is we not only get your feedback, but we push a lot on our vendors. And Rich can certainly probably attest to this. We know what you need, we know what you want, and a lot of the times we know what is possible in the code world. You got to remember again, in certain sales shoes, and I'm sure this is probably true with a lot of our vendor channel managers, that they don't necessarily have a lot of the tools that they need in the format that they need to drive that to us. We love to stretch our vendors. We love to push them. We love to come up with creative ways to say, hey, if you will just take half an hour and sit down in a room with the programmer and get this done, our agents can sell more for you. And Rich and I have conversations all the time, and along with every other vendor, of saying, what can we do to get this product the next step further so that our agents can sell it? What can we do to do this? What can we do to do that? We do that all the time with a lot of our vendors. And quite frankly, we have some vendors. EXO is a fantastic example of those who are willing to make changes. We have some vendors who need to go through all their cost analysis and do all their things to justify this, that, and the other. And if we run into problems, we do it without. We'll just say, we need this. If you give me this information, I'll take care of it without you, and we'll get it out the door. And that's another big driver that we have that we really like to do, is we really love to push that. And we're pushing for you. There's a lot of situations now, as we've done that, the vendors now come to us. I fielded 3 or 4 calls from different vendors who have come to us saying, hey, we hear about GeoQuote, it's awesome. I sure would like that for my company or for my business. Can you write that for us? And no, we can't. We will advise them on how it needs to be done. We sat on panels, I think we sat on 2 panels earlier this year of vendors who have come out with automated quoting and that type of thing, and truly want to know, is this something that you'll use? Is this something your agents will use? And we give them a lot of feedback as far as what's good, and there's a lot of times that there's things that aren't so good. And it really just, in my mind, shows our value that they respect us enough to come for that advice. our tools are faster than a lot of our vendors. There's a lot of processes that they have to go through that they can automate. And this goes with the more accuracy. I feel the calls from vendors saying, hey, you quote me better than I quote me. I don't know how you do it, but you're able to quote me better. And then finally, the last thing that I love hearing is when a vendor calls and says, what can we do to make you more efficient? And we spend a lot of time fielding those calls, and that's really an honor when we get those type of calls.
The nerd put some code in there, so you can't get it.
Yeah, I know. There we go. All right, so we do have a lot of new things that are going on. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Patrick again to review some of these products, and then we'll have our big launch of what we have going on.
Thank you very much. Going to get right down to it because we got a lot of stuff to show you. But this is just since last year. You saw that chart how everything when things went up, and Adam said, you know, this is a really good time to really measure ourselves versus last year. This is a great time for IT to actually look back and say, since we last were in this room, these are the things that we have made new. This isn't the stuff back in 04, 05, 06, or 07. This is stuff since March of 2008. The Ethernet fiber research tool. Last year we had the Ethernet-lit buildings. This year, thanks to the large parts of the help of XO, and when Andrew says that we push on vendors to give us stuff, a lot of times it's not their technical limitations, it's their political limitations. We had to sign our homeless children away to the XO legal department in order to get this fiber ran. And we did it. We jumped through the hoops we needed to jump through. Same thing with level 3, and we got that. So you can look at an area and say, wow, this person's not on net, but they're really close. And you also see a lot with the XO's Ethernet over copper system that many times it's very, very close to Ethernet. And especially as you do more complex and more enterprise-grade sales, a direct Ethernet connection is going to be required, and that big driver is fiber availability, and the ability to know where that is huge, and so that's why we push so hard for it, and we're able to get it. We added the fixed wireless 3G coding to the system. It's a whole, it's a separate entire entity, so you can go T1, you can go Bonnet T1, or you can go fixed wireless, and as we've seen, you guys have done a tremendous job in the 3G fixed wireless space, especially on those DSL replacement type deals. Multi-threaded geoquote. Why do you care about multi-threaded geoquote? Before geoquote, we go to every carrier and wait for an answer. And then if one of them hiccuped and the quote didn't compile right, we'd have to go back and just try it again and try it again. Instead of just going, everybody, go get your quotes, come back in 60 seconds, we're going to display whoever comes back in 60 seconds. It's made quoting more reliable. It's made our system less dependent upon the carrier's weakness, because sometimes their feeds die. And when their feed dies, it shouldn't eliminate all the other things. And Andrew's also implied with this is the new error reporting system. You guys will see on your quotes, when an API doesn't run, we give you an error saying, this is the quote you have, but Quest, for example, is not included. Their API did not come back on time. And that lets you know, so you're not quoting blind. That didn't used to be there. I don't know if, it seems like now that you've been using it for several months, it's almost impossible to imagine a partial quote not knowing which carriers ran, but that's how geoquote used to work. And so now we're trying to give you more visibility and knowing if stuff fails, what failed and why. Next, redundant servers. We spent a stink load of money on making a redundant network, so that if our back office goes down, we can flip a switch and the back office is back up. As you can see in this room, a lot of people are becoming dependent on the software. It's incumbent upon us as a master agent / software provider to make sure that your time's not wasted if there's a hiccup in our main data center. Next, code version control. I can't tell you how many times I've gone in and made a tweak on a site just to have one of the tech guys call me up and yell at me because I just undid one of his changes. Oops. You know, well, what happens if everyone's working on the save live code? Well, everyone steps on each other's toes. It's a big mess. Now we have code control. We have deployment systems. So I mess him up. He just hits a button and rolls back to his old code, and everything's back to normal. We also have a place where we can actually go, and we have a whole other back office that's exactly like yours, that we can go and run tests and break and fix and make sure it's all working, and then we can put it up to the code that you guys see. So it's been a tremendous value add to the IT department and into your business in terms of stability and reliability. Next, one of my sweetheart technologies, the GeoQuote XML plugin. The XML plugin now is dynamic on the front end, it's dynamic on the back end. What used to happen just a year ago is every time we added a new product, like 3G fixed wireless, for example, to the system, you guys would have to go download and get a GeoQuote plugin update. And if you're maintaining a website, which a lot of you do, you know that it's hassle doing content management or pulling down new sets of code all the time and figuring out if you're running the right revision. Your job is to sell and to use our tools to help you market. It's not to be a professional web designer. So we took extensive liberties and extensive amount of time to program that system so that when we come up with a new product, like for example, pots are coming online. If you've got our new system, pots are just going to start showing up instead of, this requires manual approval. That message will just be replaced in one day and you won't even know it. Your website will just keep running. All the new questions that we need for pots will show up on the front end. All the output on the back will show up without you having to do anything. And that's important. The public-facing redesign, that's just what I talked about there as part of the plugin. The results interface, which is the back end. Shop for MPLS was a website that we had that was never launched. We finished that, got it launched, and now can take leads for you. Shop for Ethernet now is starting to contribute a pretty sizable amount to LPS. And so a lot of our enterprise websites, I see a lot of you with the Shop for T1 shirts on, and that's vintage 2005, I think, 2006, way back in those days. And back in the day, we closed a lot of T1 circuits because we're Shop for T1, and Google thought we were a T1 shop, which Shop for T1 was and is. Now, Shop for MPLS, Google knows that people looking for MPLS should go there. And people looking for Metro Ethernet, people should go to Shop for Ethernet. So we're kind of endearing ourselves to Google and the search engines for these more enterprise class terms. And even though the leads aren't as big as volume, because not every business is looking for Ethernet, most small, medium-sized businesses just now are figuring out that they could get rid of their DSL and get T1 for almost the same amount of price. So we're starting to get more and more traction there. The MPLS price request tool, and this is the cool thing right there. For those of you who are new, if you upload a series of sites into our system and you go through the one-page questionnaire, our system will actually look through hundreds of thousands of quotes that we've run through geoquote to figure out if those locations are served by specific carriers. So we can say XO has 100% of your 6 locations are served by XO. Why? Because we've run geoquotes and we keep archives of those quotes. So we can use those to help you perform strategic research for enterprise accounts. And now, getting into some of the new stuff, these are some of the new GeoQuote Plus sites that you'll be seeing. A lot of you get emails every month for you get this GeoQuote Plus credit because you've generated a lead and closed it. We give $30 of credit to everyone who closes a lead through our system on the lead gen side. So if you close someone else's deal, we're giving that original lead generator $30 of credit. These are the sites that you can purchase with those credits. We also take cash monies from PayPal. And these are complete websites that are complete from top to bottom. You can control your logo. You can pick which picture you want, which color scheme you want to work with. We've got content areas here below where you can enter your own articles that you want to write, or if you want to plug an RSS feed in here from Yahoo or Google or from any other news outlet, you'll be able to do that. The cool thing is you don't have to be a web guru in order to do this. We're putting an extensive amount of development into the back end where it's like a web template builder. You say, I want this, I want that, I want this. Here's the RSS feed I want to put in there, and go. Your code gets created, and the next question is, where's your FTP account? Type in your FTP information, swing, all your files go over, and you're done. So it really lowers the barrier to entry for you to start having a web presence and start to generate your own web leads. So we're very, very excited about the new GeoQuote Plus sites. And again, look for these in late March, early April. Again, on the alert system, on the calls, we will let you know. And these will be available in the GeoQuote part of your back office. A question that will probably come up is, well, I've already got a GeoQuote site. Can I upgrade it to one of these? The answer is yes. If you've paid money and you have a site going down and you just want to change it out, we will change those out for you. Of course, these are all outfitted with all the new XML plugins that we've just talked about from GeoQuote. So you'll be able to quote everything that we have to offer. Without ever having to worry about getting upgraded. Next. Some of the things that we've actually added to GeoQuote in terms of products. A lot of people say, well, I don't sell managed services or Ethernet or stuff because I don't see it in GeoQuote. I mean, we have a culture here of instant gratification. If something's available, we want to see it now. And what I'm going to do here is turn it over to Andrew, and I'm actually going to click through a couple of these items so you can actually see what they look like in a live environment. So cross your fingers that my EVDO card doesn't go out, and we're actually going to pull up a couple of these samples. And we're going to do this with live websites because we really want to show you, not necessarily on a slide presentation, what our software looks like. So Here is your microphone, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me take a second while Patrick's pulling that up as well. We've got relationships with a lot of different carriers. We've got a lot of different things that are going on out in the world. And we mentioned earlier, or we heard earlier from XO that what do you say, about 30 or 40% of his IT staff is related to maintenance. I want to take a second to recognize it, if you can entertain for just a second while that's pulling out. Danny Steer, if you wouldn't mind just standing up for just a second. I don't want to put you on the spot. Thank you very much. I say again, I'm leaving when I say it. Danny is the guy who makes sure, both from the vendor side and from the agent side, that all of those things get in place and get done. He puts a lot of bugs in my ear and beats me up a lot too when it comes to if we're running behind on something. So Danny, again, thank you very much. He does a fantastic job. What we're looking here is really just a generic look and feel of results when a quote is run on a public-facing site. We've done a lot of new things here, and again, this is an Ethernet quote. Your website could have your custom, headers and footers and those type of things, but the guts and the meat of everything all comes out in a standard format. We've also updated. There we go. There's a lot of filtering options that are now in place. Again, this is kind of some older items, but the customers can now, as you've got the ability to filter those things out in your view, the customer can now filter those items out as well. We do remain brand agnostic on this site, so even though internally in this room that Ethernet over DS1 is going to be a Quest product, I'm sorry, an XO product. Sorry, Rich. But this location does have the Ethernet, pricing available. If we do have pricing, we can show it. If we have reasons why we can't show it, it is a TVD or an ICV situation. The Ethernet over copper midband, the 3 and the 5 meg, again, it's going to be a very similar view. We've also worked that into the bonded quotes as well, but we do take a lot of time to differentiate that. And I don't know if that's going to pull up here since we're running Ethernet over, since we're running an Ethernet quote. But again, all the pricing, all those things are available. You're going to start seeing us making a switch. And again, we've got a lot still coming up. But I think you're generally going to start seeing us make a switch to becoming more bandwidth focused. And we will take a lot of time in specifying the type of bandwidth that this is available. But if a customer is looking for a 5 meg circuit, we're going to show not only a bonded solution, but also an Ethernet over an Ethernet option or whatever options become available at particular bandwidths. That's not in yet, but that is something that generally you're going to see us going towards. So here's an example, for example. So you pull a bonded quote, up at the top is an Ethernet over copper. We do want to be upfront with the customer, so if they are looking for strictly a bonded TDM solution, we display that as being a bonded solution. But we also show those alternative options available as well to the customer. So those are the pieces we got there.
One thing that I want to point out on this, and this is particularly important, and I don't know if you understood what Andrew just said, but we're really focused on bandwidth, because a lot of times someone goes, I need 3 megs. They don't care if it comes on an Ethernet, they don't care if it comes on a wireless, they don't care if it comes on a bonded, they want to know what you can offer them. And so we've taken the liberty to integrate this Ethernet over copper 3 meg, wonder who that's from, into geocoding. You can see 3 megs for $419. So when Charlie was up here saying, hey, you guys can now swap out people's T1s and upgrade them to 3 meg, and these Ethernet over copper areas, all you got to do is come in here and geocode and run. If you see 3 megs and it's in the $400 range, that's XO's product. And it's, as you can see, anybody looking for anything over a T1 would be foolish not to go 3 megs for $499, because anything on the bonded side starts significantly higher. And that's even aggressive pricing for bonded. But you're going to find that over and over and over again. Just by show of hands, how many people are participating in the XO Ethernet over copper vendor-provided lead program right now? How many people even know that we give out vendor-provided leads at all? How many people don't know? Okay. What happens is we've got this whole system, and when we find a specific product, we call it sweet. We call them ice cream cones because they're sweet, but they're cold. They're very targeted. They're people who qualify for the products, but these people aren't expecting your call. Well, XO has given us thousands of names of companies that are on their Ethernet over copper footprint. Well, guess what? All of those people who are in the Ethernet over copper footprint are also in the band 3 and 5 meg. Those footprints are identical. So if you can sell Ethernet over copper, and those people are in your list, you also can sell them this 3 and 5 meg. And we put out a little telarus alert about that, but I just want to make you all aware, for those of you who are working on that vendor-provided lead program, you can go back to those people who say, well, man, 10 megs, $1,000, it's a little bit rich, I'm kind of a small business. You say, well, how about 3 megs, that's double what you have now. You're probably around the same price you're paying. Oh, I can get behind that. Because now you're giving them more for the same amount of money. And this economy, that's what it's all about.
The thing to remember is that on the lead bank platform, 3, 5, and 10 is how the rate is. You go 3, 5, 10. So if it needs change, now they need to go down, but don't start all over. Can't get a circuit for this stuff, couldn't do it like that.
And I learned they can go to 3 to 5 without any new hardware, but they need new hardware to go from 5 to 10 because the mid-band only comes with those 4-port routers. And so when you go to more, you need more copper lines, so you have to go to a different box. But Rich is right, and we don't lose the customer, we upgrade them. The box is easy to switch out. It's an easy upgrade for these people. Next, I want to move right along here to my POTS lines. And even though they're coming soon, I want to just give you a quick demo because we've been working really, really, really hard on this the last little while. For the longest time, people have not knocked on us, but they said, you're just a T1 play, you're a T1 shop. And that because we're shop for T1, that was true. We're getting a lot of other leads, our agents, our software, everything is evolving upstream. But then the question is, well, what about downstream? A lot of the VARs I work with, we put in circuits, and the guys have POTS lines, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't see POTS in geoquote. So is there anyone in this room who's ever come on to do POTS, but it didn't really fit in the system, so you kind of didn't really know what to do with them? And POTS all day long. So what I want to show you is how we envision POTS working in geoquote, because POTS are funny. I was joking to Andrew just last week, I go, they're 10 times less money or 10 times more work. But they're there, so why leave them, let them go? So what we have here, and remember I was telling you guys about our sandbox server. Why is that important? Well, you're looking at our sandbox server now. It looks a lot like your back office, doesn't it? Except your back office doesn't crash, where does front office go?
It doesn't?
Well, as of last night, so here's what we have. You run a quote, and instead of getting all your quote lines, you have quote lines plus your feature quote lines. And so you can come in here and say, well, this one here is 22 lines, total price, $396. All you got to do is go over, so when your customer calls, you can say, well, what do you need? Well, I need three-way calling, I need total blocking, I need speed dial. All right, well, this plan includes those. Or you can say you need some more stuff, so Amber, go ahead and click on edit on the top right there. And say, all right, you need some more. So you come in here and it loads in the menu. It takes a couple seconds. It's on my air card. On your super fast DSLs at home. There we go. So you can come in here and say, well, so how many lines do you have? I got 22 lines. Were they all the same? Well, no. I need 5 just plain Jane fax lines with LD, nothing else. I don't need call waiting. I don't need any stuff. And on the other ones, my secretary says, so I need call waiting, repeat dialing, all the cool features that I need. So go ahead and just click that little button here. And it will update our little price here, boom, 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 and hit done. It'll take you back to your quote. It will look good, and then all you gotta do is hit the proposal button, and then I don't know, something's thunder from the new proposal generator. It's coming in the next 6 minutes. But this will get everything ready so that when you go to your new proposal generator, it'll list out this POTS price, and it'll show which lines he has, and it'll show what the cost of each of those lines is. You go in. The cool thing is, not that you can it's actually threefold. Number one, you can build them the POTS lines they need with the features they need and know the pricing right away without having to make phone calls and do research. Because that's the hardest part about POTS. It's just as much work as a T1 line in terms of finding research and making sure it's what the customer wants and making sure the price is accurate and everything else. So we're going to take that burden off of you. We're going to just let you point click and then go right to proposal. And in your proposal, Andrew, can you mouse over these again? Your customer will see the rates, they'll see their price, and in the proposal, it will show you what each of these groups have. So Andrew just configured 10 POTS lines with the whole full Monties, and the 12 basics. And he knows, I'm taking mouse off, and he knows what the install charge is going to be based on the features they want. He knows what each line is going to cost on a monthly term. And so we've got now a new monthly return fee and a new install fee. And all of these things here self-adjust themselves based upon what you select down here. And then that is going to go into the proposal system. So now you know A, POTS are available and what carrier they're available with. B, now you can configure the features very easily. And then lastly, you can get those over to the customer so that he can make a buying decision and sign the paperwork and get those POTS going. So it'll really enable you, especially when it comes to the revenue from this. I'll be honest, Telarus isn't, we're not planning on a trip to Cabo next year based on the commissions we're going to earn from selling POTS lines. But the problem is our relationships, and we're going to talk, Lance and I are going to talk a little bit more about this after lunch. It's the relationships with your referral partners and your VAR partners and your equipment people that you really want to nourish. And a lot of times those guys will toss you a POTS, and all they're doing is tossing you a hand grenade. No one wants to touch those things because it just takes up your time. But you know what? If you can take those and provision them real fast and give them to the customer, your VAR is going to think you're a hero. He's going to think, man, this telecom is all he can order stuff even down to POTS, and it's not going to be your Achilles heel anymore. Because a lot of these partners, they start you out with POTS before they start giving you the T1s and the access and the MPLS and all the big stuff. They test you out with POTS because they want to know if you can do your job. Just like we talked about Exchange Server. A lot of IT guys will start off with 1 or 2 seats just to see if it works, just to stick their toe in there and give it a shot. So now this will really enable you to really partner with your partners and do a much better job on POTS. So now we've kind of lowered the floor a little bit on the efficiency scale. You can go down to POTS now, and we're also with the MPLS stuff I just showed you. Now you're able to really do some research and really get into the MPLS research as well. So we're trying to take you in both directions. I don't think we're going to go any lower than POTS. I don't know if there are smoke signals. I guess would be as far as And so with that, those are some of the new products that we're showing you. Co-location, just go ahead and click on this point real fast, enter your keyword. The point is really slick. I don't know if you remember just last year, a lot of the products we had in the system were different. We had a standardized system that was standardized for most things, which means it wasn't standardized. You would have to go to some point-to-point tool, click the carriers you want, spit off some emails would come back. You couldn't just look it up on GeoQuote. You couldn't come back to your quote and look at it after you were done. And when those emails came back, they couldn't go into a proposal. So private lines, those were kind of hard to sell too because they weren't standardized. And that's really been the whole push of IT this year, is to standardize everything. To make it so that if you can use GeoQuote, you can sell anything you want now. You can sell POTS, private lines, it doesn't matter. So I think it's going to come up in Explorer here, actually, which is my default browser, I'm ashamed to say. Or no, did you load it? Okay. Outstanding. So point to point, I think go over here. Over there. Go ahead and log in as my browser. So you didn't know I was working behind the scenes, did you? Now, this account is our live testing account. And so again, one of the main points was to consolidate everything, to make everything standard. Why? Because how can you design this cool, cute, but proposal system, and things are all in different weird formats. So we wanted to put everything in the standard format, primarily so we could get this new proposal system in your hands, which went live yesterday, as many of you have discovered. We're going to put points. IT director. There we go. So here's our point. Here is your carrier. And I had to admit that I was guilty of finding one more. So that was number 1, which wasn't too hard, by the way. So and this comes directly from their click-to-quote system. So if you log into your Excel back office, you're going to say the same exact price. Why? Because the same stupid computer is sending this information to their website is sending to my website. It's the same system. In fact, Charlie Trimble, who designs the system, is a good friend of mine down in Dallas. He is pushing this information out to us through different XML APIs. So I know the loop location. And here's the cool thing: if you can go back into the customer record. This is going to be the coolest part. To design a point-to-point, it won't ask you to type in all these different locations. It'll use the locations already in your CRM and say, which two locations do you want to do a private line between? This way. See, in IT, we don't have any idea that these little things make a big difference in your life. You have to keep typing in and repeating stuff all the time. So if you want to create a private line, just go P2P. Go ahead and delete it. So I want something from Ashburn, Virginia. You know what Ashburn, Virginia is?
That's the Savage data center.
Savage data centers.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how good you become at geography, isn't it? Being a telecom person.
No,
I mean, you know these. You know where things like Ada, Oklahoma are, and you know who the left is. So here we are at the Piece of Living. Our website, I swear, there's usually this guy that's these people trying to block our internet access. They want to charge gazillion dollars for DSL lines. We grab my food in about 5 more minutes. So we're in point, and boom. Is this what you guys are cheering for right here?
Yeah.
That's cool. So which location? There's 2 New York locations in there, so it'll just give it a little refresh real fast by itself. And boom, that location will be populated. All you gotta do is select bandwidth, click on the go button, and you're looking at our point flow. And you're going to just click back a few times to get back to the full view. So out pops your quote, and of course your commission, loop A, loop Z, interchange, install fee term, boom. And now you're ready for proposal right away. You don't have to wait for these emails to come back and not really know where to store them once you get them, maybe in your notes, maybe your task. I mean, who really knows where to put them? The system really wasn't designed for that. So now we're consolidated into one big system. That leads us into the concluding part of our new technology, which is the one that we've spent probably the most amount of time, and we're going to spend the least amount of time talking about it, unfortunately, is a proposal generator. Because you know that geocode aside, a website aside, everything, that proposal that you put on your customer's desk means everything. It's the thing that he takes to other people within his organization. And if it looks good, and if it's concise, and it has the data that they need, then you're going to look good. And if it looks amateurish, it's poorly written, it's formatted really bad, problem. So I'm going to bring up Andrew, who's going to step us through real fast how to use this new proposal generator, where it's located, and what you can expect in terms of usability.
Thank you, Patrick. We've got much probably waiting, so we'll run through this real quick. This is live as of yesterday. This is new. It's live on your system. I know the next Tuesday call that we have, there's probably going to be a ton of questions, a ton of items on it. Couple of things. First of all, since we are up against the lunch break, hold all your questions. I do want to hear them. I know, again, Danny would want to hear them as well. Feel free to come talk to us, ask us anything regarding anything that you've seen today. We'll be happy to sit down. We'd love to talk about it. So we'd love to talk to you about it further. First of all, let me tell you a brief overview as far as what you can do with the proposal system. I'm going to go real fast. Multi-location on one proposal, multi-service per location, multi-service per proposal. So you can take a POS line, you can bundle it with DSL, you can bundle it with a T1, you can put a Ethernet over copper and a bonded solution on the same proposal.
For different locations.
For different locations, all that stuff is available now. So to do into that, you can start in a couple of places. If you already know your location, you can create a proposal here underneath the location. If you want to create for that service, you can click it there. We've added a new tab at the bottom under proposals that if you just want to create just a crazy mad proposal, you can click add other proposals. It all goes to the same place. There's lots of links that take you to the same place. New screen's going to pop up, and this is for an individual location, and shows you that the quote on the left is for a data T1, and the quote on the right is for a bonded T1. And so this is basically a wizard to take you through and guide you through building the proposal. You can also add services manually, so if you have a manual option out there, you can add that as well. One other thing, by the way, that I want to show you on this is where, back it up, Patrick, for me. On the top are tabs. So if you run a lot of quotes for a particular location and it runs you under the all location, you can click each of those individual tabs and it will pull up just those specific type of quotes. This is all interactive. It's all pretty easy to walk through. This screen's a little familiar. This is the screen where you go through and you actually select what lines you want to appear in your proposal. If you need to edit your lines, if you need to do any of that stuff, do that on the quote screen. At this point, you would not make any changes to the company, the description, any of that. No, that's not right. Don't take that. Go through and check which quote lines are available. This is the screen that when you go through and you select those quote lines, you're going to have the option to go in and make any edits to anything that you want to make. So if you want to change the MRC, you want to change the bandwidth, any of that stuff that you want to do, you can do that there. Notice that there are 2 locations on here. So there's the Draper, Utah office, and then my Ada, Oklahoma branch of the Telarus office there as well. That's my home number. Please don't call me at home. Let's see. I'm just kidding. Let's see. So you can also add a manual quote line as well. So if you've got something out there that you need to add on your own that didn't run through our back office, you can add a new data proposal line. You can fill absolutely everything in there regarding the carrier, the description, all that stuff is in there and is available. Yes.
I see that there's a 1.5 and 3.
Could you please hold your questions? Sorry. We're trying to hurry up. No, he did bring that up. There is a 1.5 bandwidth and a 3 meg bandwidth. That happens again when you go through and shows that you added a bonded line to this proposal. So you can compare a 4.5 and a 6 meg, with some different companies and see what the price differences are if that's how you choose to sell it. You can also, by the way, there's no need to go back, Patrick. You can also add different services. So if you've got a bonded service and you want to propose an integrated service, that the lines are going to show a little bit differently and they'll break apart a little bit differently, but you can certainly do completely different service types on the exact same proposal. Okay. So click, go ahead and let's go to the next screen. We've already done that one. All right, so this next screen that you're looking at is where you're actually building the details or the information. You want to put your sales pitch, those type of things in the proposal. Here at the very bottom of the screen is the information that we put in from the previous screen. If you've got a logo, your own custom logo, that will default to that. And there may be a couple items out there with that, but take it to Danny or bring it up on an agent call. We can figure out how we can customize logos if you have multiple identities. One thing that we've heard time and time again is how we want to modify. I don't want to use your template. I want to type my own thing. I'll use my own identity. This spot right here was the header. You're welcome to use it. If you want to change it, if you want to do whatever you want to do, we've created this thing to be completely open for you to put basically comments wherever you want to put them. If you want to change the header, you're welcome to do that. It's got a Microsoft Word-esque looking interface, so you don't need to know HTML to put bold, underline, center, bullets, all sorts of good little nuggets in there to customize your logo. Customize your intro and your closer. Another big piece that we heard you about was regarding putting comments per location. So you can now do that. So if you have, again, if you're in a situation where you're proposing a data T1 because that's what the customer recommended, but you've also thrown in an integrated, or you're going to propose an Ethernet solution instead of a bonded solution, you want to explain why. That's the place to do it. You do that per location, and again, you've got that exact same interface where if you want to bold it, if you want to highlight something, bullets, whatever the case may be, you can certainly put that in. Step 7 is one of the coolest things that we've got out there. We're converting it now to PDF. So it's a print-ready format. It sends as an attachment to your email, and you can send it in a PDF format. And it's all print-ready, very professional looking. We still have some logos that we need to put in there. I know I'm going to put another pitch out there. If you have your logo in a high-resolution format, please send that to Danny or myself. No, send that to Danny, and we'll go ahead and get that uploaded for you, so you have a high-resolution print logo on a high-resolution output. Once again, that stuff is all live and ready to go. So feel free to please go back there, check it out, bang away at it. And we look forward to getting your comments back. I'm going to go real quick through this. Completing the POTS tool, that's going to be mid-March. Look forward to getting that out. All sorts of automated GeoQuote website builders. Those things are fantastic, very easy to use. If you're scared of programming, don't be. We've made it very, very easy to integrate GeoQuote Plus into your website. This is a big one actually for us, is putting all of our products from all of our vendors. We've got a lot of shelves to fill. We spent a lot of time building the capabilities. We've got some neat options, 2-point MPLS options instead of point-to-point. So if you've got a cross-country circuit, 2-point MPLS is a fantastic option. Those are going into point-to-point. A lot of new little features that we'll be filling in over the couple weeks. Let's see. The biggest, I guess, the other big consistency on here is the upgrade to Mars. We've got a big commitment. If you do the Mars platform, if you're not familiar with Mars, that's our master agent system. So if you have multiple employees, if you have sub-agents, whatever the case may be, we really want to make sure that gets up to date and remains consistent. And of course, we highlighted these a little times earlier, dedication that we want to do to the complete life cycle of the customer order process. We're going to start automating order status updates, and probably more about this 6 months from now we'll get together. But getting in both order status updates and also making a lot of the paperwork options a lot easier to work with and configure. So I know everybody's hungry. I'm going to turn it over to Patrick for one more thing for closing, but enjoy your lunch and come talk to us.
Thank you, Andrew. Marketing had absolutely nothing to do with that except for getting rid of the salmon color. But it was a complete self-contained IT project. We really didn't know what was going on. It kind of went on for 6 months, and then the day before the show, it popped by. Pretty cool stuff. We know that that's going to help us out a lot. We hear you, and I didn't really hear loud enough applause back here from John Arnold, because I know he's been a big proponent of the new proposal system. And you can know that the old one that you hated is officially now the trash bucket, and just where it will stay. And definitely go down in the telarus Museum, I guess. The last thing, it's kind of a cool new tool. I know it's we're already 10 minutes into lunch. You guys have to eat really fast. But the marketing department got together, me and my guy, all two of us, and we said, well, what can we do to help these guys be more productive? And in fact, what we came up with is, we need you to work more. It was like Homer Simpson when he gets promoted to be like the plant manager. He says, we need 10% more productivity. So he goes, you guys need 10% more productive? And they go, yeah. He goes, cool. So, but the way to do that is to recognize that you're not on your computer all the time. You're not in your office all the time. You're out running errands. You're at your children's events. And sometimes you have some downtime where you kind of look at the news and see what's going on. Well, I kind of had an epiphany when I was sitting in the dentist office a few months ago, and I was just really bored, and so I pulled up my M.dot Facebook, right? So I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, look, I got some friends from high school who want to be my friend again, cool. And I was sitting there, and before I knew it, Patrick, we're ready for it. And I was like, oh man, that was really fast, that was really cool. And I was thinking, well, what if I was a closer and I got a lead when I was sitting there in the meeting room, or what if I had an alert or something I needed to know about, and I wouldn't know until I got home on my computer, right? I mean, there's no way to know. So we kind of came up with a cool little Telarus back office for your phone, so that you guys can see leads. So I've got it online. I just want to preface this little gift that we have made for you by saying this. It's not your back office. Okay, this new proposal system, it's not on there. This is a way for you to get access to your information. Now, if a new lead comes from the web and hits your inbox, your inbox thing here is going to show you've got one new lead you need to call. You'll be able to drill down into the lead. You'll see the customer's name. You'll see the notes. You'll see his phone number. You'll be able to just mouse over the phone number and hit go, and it'll call him. Hey, how you doing? You don't have to dial the number. It's really a self-contained productivity enhancement tool. But again, it's not your back office. It's got several things though. It's got access to new leads, access to alerts. Your whole VAR partner database is on there. So if you're in Vegas, you want to visit a guy and you remember his name, but you don't know his phone number, his address, you can pull it up there. It pulls from your VAR database. Same thing with view customer quotes. A lead comes in, you want to see what he quoted. You want to see what quote lines came up. Was it XO? Was it somebody else? You can sit there and you go through the quote lines before you call the customer back. You can say, hey, I see you need a dedicated bonded circuit. Hey, look at this. I've got a 3. You'll be able to have information at your fingertips before you call your customer without having to go home and get on your computer to look first. So it's, again, just a productivity enhancement tool. Adam and I like to joke around, like being more productive in the restroom. We don't even go. Because if you don't have a good magazine, it's probably the best guy. And then manual quote request, which is one of the new things. When things go in manual, it's going to go to XO, and someone from XO is going to type in, well, I need more information. Bing is going to pop back on your system. You could even probably punch them in a text with some more information that goes back to them. Again, it's just on your cell phone. And so again, the address is m.telarus.com. You just have to log in. Once you log in, it's going to store your WAP ID in our system. So every time your phone accesses it, it goes right into your front page. On your profile, on your real back office, you lose your phone or something happens, you can go into your real back office and turn off the mobile. And so anyone who tries to get to your mobile website now will not be able to.
Does it work on BlackBerry?
It works on BlackBerry. It works on any phone that has a internet. It's not even 3G. My phone's not 3G. And I designed it on my phone. My phone stinks. Adam always goes, why don't you get an iPhone or BlackBerry or something? Man, you're like this big IT guy. I just like phone. And it has basic texting and basic web browsing on it.
So you get old.
Sony Ericsson. I'm with IT enough. I don't even have it in my pocket. So if you want, you can pull that out, type in your thing, and over lunch, see if it works. It's very specific. There's certain types of protocols that our system doesn't understand yet, and we're working to fix that. So if it comes back saying the mobile ID is not defined, it's okay. It's just it's more of a feature thing and a compatibility issue on our end. And again, I am not an experienced wireless applications web developer. We've cobbled this together with extensive research and our friends in Australia whose technical notes happen to show up in Google, and we were able to do this. So enjoy it. We hope you like it, and have fun with lunch. And with that, Adam, which room are we meeting in for lunch? Right next door. So it's all set up, ready to go. One last comment by Rich again, and then we'll dismiss.
Thank you, Lance.
Take your seat just for a few minutes. We want to hand out a few awards to carriers.
All right, Chairman Dallas.
Everyone, please take a seat.
I do. I started in 1990 selling long distance with a called Express Flight. I worked with a company called Retail out of San Diego. It's very small. Focused with IPTV. But I'm going to try to put some things with Patrick this year. I say I had experience in
Every time we got in trouble. Our trip to the Channel Partner Show, and also of our agent conference each year as we get together. We work a lot with you as agents and also with you as carrier partners. We have tremendous support day in and out with email, instant message, phone calls, and a lot of those three. But it's important to us once a year that we come together face to face. We're able to talk a little bit and reacquaint ourselves as normal human beings tend to do face-to-face. So we look forward to time. What we wanted to do this year was recognize some of our carrier partners here tonight for some of the achievements that we've received throughout the year, and also that agents have voted on. So some of these categories are straight from the numbers in terms of revenue, retention. Some of them are agent perception, how you're doing in many of the categories. And so we have several we want to get through. This will go very quickly. Once we do this, we'll get back to dessert. Actually, hopefully we'll have dessert by then. We need to get it moved over here. Is it here?
It's over in the other corner.
But it's so small.
That's been really
Okay, all right, so it's here. Good. Crisis averted. All right. So let's get to it. The first award we'd like to give out, and once we do announce the award, please come forward. We'd like to give it to you, take a picture, and then we'll move on to the next one. The first award for the largest sales increase from 07 to 08, and this is in dollars of revenue, the largest increase was AirSpring. All right, next category, top channel manager. This is voted on by Telarus agents, and we had a statistical tie. There were two standouts. And the fact is, we have unbelievable support from channel managers. Almost all the channel managers we have are tremendous support agents. Two stood out, though, in the vote, and we'd like to bring them up at the same time. First, Chris Schubert from Nuvox. All right, next category, most improved carrier. And this trend has actually continued for multiple years. And we're happy to give this vote as voted by agents. And that goes to XO Communications.
Look how tan these guys look.
We just got back from our work break.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
All right, next award, Newcomer of the Year. This is a service provider we just signed with that has taken off, and we've had great success with them as voted by agents. Newcomer of the Year, Excel. Representative here, we'll move right on.
Hang on. He was here last year at this very event and said, hey guys, I got like 5-year agents that want to put deals into me, so if you don't sign, then you became a vendor. And that's how we got here. Most of the history there. You guys are laughing at the ones that are guilty.
Largest single sale goes to level 3. This is a category we talked about earlier today, highest retention, lowest fallout. Those are actually two different pieces. Retention, we consider existing customers continuing on, or lack of attrition, and also fallout, we consider from order to commission, lowest amount of fallout. That went to Nuvox.
To accept the award is the customer retention specialist.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
All right. And lastly, we've got top sales volume and as voted by agents, best overall carrier. Both awards go to Telness.
A lot of hardware for this man.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate all the support we receive from carriers. We know tremendous numbers go into supporting our agents. We appreciate what you do for us and supporting us in our efforts. Thank you again for being here. We hope you'll stay and have a good time socializing with each other. That's all we have to do. Thanks.